And what if the real boundary between a body fading into chronic fatigue, joint inflammation, and age-accelerating degeneration, and a life redefined by cellular repair, boundless morning energy, and effortless mental clarity is not another expensive pharmaceutical prescription or a synthetic multivitamin stack, but the precise biological architecture sitting right on your dinner plate? Most people spend decades hunting for the ultimate fountain of youth in cold plunges, boutique supplements, and high-tech longevity clinics. They wake up every single morning feeling heavy in their joints, fogged in their thinking, and quietly accepting that slipping vitality is just an inevitable tax of growing older. But what almost nobody in mainstream medicine takes the time to explain to you is that your cells are not decaying simply because the calendar pages are turning. They are decaying because they are starving for specific, targeted biochemical instructions that can only be delivered through complete, nutrient-dense meal combinations, the foundational longevity plates that signal your DNA to repair rather than retreat. Today, I'm going to walk you through 8 powerful, science-backed longevity superfood plates engineered to calm chronic inflammation, repair damaged cellular pathways, and help restore your body's natural vitality starting from your very next meal. Make sure you stay with me all the way through to the end, because plate number 5 features a deeply misunderstood, ancient fermented pairing that quieted gut inflammation for whole generations long before modern probiotics existed. And plate number 8 contains a potent combination of dark greens and bioavailable fats that acts like a cellular reset button for your microvascular system. Yet almost 90% of adults prepare it completely wrong, accidentally wiping out its most critical bioactive compounds before it ever touches their fork. Before we dive into our very first plate, take a quick moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Every single week, we break down actionable, cutting-edge nutritional science and age-defying longevity strategies designed to help you take full control of your health, your energy, and your future. Here are 8 masterfully crafted longevity superfood plates, ranked from profoundly restorative to absolute game-changers for your biology. The first one is the Mediterranean Microvascular Repair Plate: dark leafy greens, cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil, squeezed lemon, and steamed wild salmon. I don't know if you know, but for centuries, elders living in the sun-drenched coastal villages of Icaria, Greece, and Sardinia, Italy, regularly lived past the age of 100 without ever stepping foot inside an intensive care unit or tracking a single calorie. They didn't possess superior genetic code, nor did they have access to modern biohacking gadgets. What they had, however, was a daily ritual centered around hyper-local, deeply vibrant whole foods consumed in synergistic harmony. When medical researchers finally landed on these islands to study why their 80-year-olds possessed the vascular flexibility of 30-year-olds, they discovered that their secret lay not in a single miracle ingredient, but in how their daily meals were constructed to protect the inner lining of their blood vessels from oxidative destruction. The magic of this plate lies in its ability to protect and restore your endothelial lining, the single-cell layer that lines every blood vessel in your body. Wild salmon provides a massive payload of astaxanthin, one of the most potent natural antioxidants on Earth, alongside rich omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA. These fatty acids actively quiet down pro-inflammatory cytokines like TNF-alpha and interleukin-6. But when you pair this wild fish with steamed dark greens like lacinato kale or Swiss chard, drizzled liberally with unrefined extra virgin olive oil, something extraordinary happens. The polyphenols in the olive oil, specifically oleocanthal and hydroxytyrosol, bind to the fat-soluble vitamins K1, A, and E in the greens, increasing their intestinal absorption rate by up to 600%. Meanwhile, the citric acid from fresh lemon juice instantly converts the non-heme iron in the greens into a highly soluble ferrous form, allowing your bone marrow to produce oxygen-rich red blood cells without digestive strain. To construct this plate perfectly, start by gently steaming a generous bed of dark greens, such as lacinato kale, spinach, or dandelion greens, for no more than 3 minutes to soften their cellulose fibers while preserving their thermal-sensitive enzymes. Next, sear or bake a 6-ounce wild-caught sockeye salmon fillet over medium heat using a heat-stable lipid like avocado oil or grass-fed ghee, keeping the skin crisp. Transfer the salmon onto the bed of greens, pour 2 tablespoons of fresh, cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil over the top, and squeeze the fresh juice of half a ripe lemon directly over the entire plate right before serving. Eating this plate just twice a week acts as an internal pressure valve for your cardiovascular system, drastically improving nitric oxide production, calming systemic vascular stiffness, and delivering a clean, steady wave of sustained physical energy that lasts for hours without an afternoon crash. But I need you to pay attention to one thing. Never cook your extra virgin olive oil at high temperatures. High heat oxidizes its delicate polyphenols and degrades its protective qualities. Always treat your high-quality olive oil as a finishing medicine, pouring it cold directly onto warm food. Now, let's move on to the second one. The Cellular Autophagy bowl. Roasted cruciferous vegetables, turmeric garlic tahini, and sprouted lentils. Well, I need you to imagine your body as a high-performance luxury engine running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Over time, metabolic combustion leaves behind molecular soot, senescent zombie cells that stop dividing but refuse to die, leaking inflammatory toxins into surrounding healthy tissues. In the mid-2000s, Nobel Prize-winning research illuminated a process known as autophagy, the body's internal recycling system that hunts down damaged cellular components and breaks them down into raw energy. While prolonged fasting is the most famous trigger for autophagy, targeted botanical compounds found in humble garden roots and cruciferous vegetables can activate these exact same cellular cleanup pathways while keeping your body fully nourished and satisfied. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli florets, Brussels sprouts, and cauliflower contain a precious sulfur-rich precursor called glucoraphanin. When you chop or chew these raw or lightly heated vegetables, a plant enzyme named myrosinase transforms glucoraphanin into sulforaphane, one of the most powerful natural activators of the NRF2 genetic pathway. The NRF2 pathway acts as the master switch for your body's internal antioxidant defense system, signaling your liver to produce high concentrations of endogenous glutathione. When paired with sprouted lentils, your body receives a clean, slow-burning source of prebiotic fiber and plant protein that feeds beneficial gut strains like Akkermansia mucinifera. Chop 1 cup of broccoli florets and 1 cup of halved Brussels sprouts, and let them sit on your cutting board for at least 40 minutes before roasting. This resting phase allows the enzyme myrosinase to produce maximum sulforaphane. Toss them lightly in avocado oil and roast at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes until lightly caramelized. Serve over 1 cup of warm, cooked, sprouted brown lentils. For the elixir sauce, whisk 2 tablespoons of raw sesame tahini with 1 teaspoon of ground organic turmeric, 1 crushed garlic clove, a pinch of black pepper, and warm water until smooth, drizzling it generously over the entire bowl. This plate works tirelessly beneath your conscious awareness to flush out accumulated cellular waste, reduce deep tissue puffiness, and soothe chronic digestive irritation. But here's the thing. Always add a tiny pinch of freshly ground black pepper to any dish containing turmeric. The piperine compound inside black pepper increases the bioavailability and systemic absorption of curcumin by an astounding 2,000%. Now, let's move on to the third one. The brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. Shield, wild blueberries, sprouted walnuts, creamy coconut yogurt, and Ceylon cinnamon. I noticed there's a quiet fear that looms over nearly every adult as the decades roll by. The fear that our focus will dull, that memories of cherished family moments will slowly fade, and that mental sharpness will yield to brain fog and cognitive decline. For generations, cognitive decline was viewed as an unavoidable consequence of aging. However, neuroscience has revealed that the adult brain retains a remarkable capacity for neuroplasticity, the ability to grow new neural connections and repair damaged brain tissue throughout our entire lives. The primary growth hormone responsible for this neuroplastic protection is BDNF, or brain-derived neurotrophic factor, and its production is heavily influenced by the specific phytonutrients we consume every day. Wild low-bush blueberries are packed with concentrated anthocyanins, dark blue flavonoid pigments capable of crossing the tight junction cells of the blood-brain barrier. Once inside the brain, these anthocyanins accumulate in regions responsible for memory and learning, such as the hippocampus, where they enhance signaling between neurons, neutralize neurooxidative stress, and stimulate the upregulation of BDNF. When combined with sprouted walnuts, the brain receives a rich supply of alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid crucial for maintaining the fluid structural integrity of neuronal cell membranes. The fermented coconut yogurt introduces beneficial lactic acid bacteria that communicate directly with the central nervous system via the vagus nerve, while authentic Ceylon cinnamon improves neuronal insulin sensitivity, ensuring your brain cells efficiently absorb glucose for clean, stable mental focus. And here's how you should prepare it. In a wide glass bowl, add 1 cup of unsweetened traditional fermented coconut yogurt as your foundational base. Layer on 1 cup of fresh or frozen wild blueberries. Ensure they are wild low-bush blueberries, as they contain up to 2 times more antioxidants than cultivated blueberries. Top with a 1/4 cup of raw walnuts that have been soaked and sprouted to reduce phytic acid, and finish by dusting the top generously with 1/2 teaspoon of organic Ceylon cinnamon. Consuming this protective plate for breakfast or as an afternoon meal provides immediate protection against midday brain fog, improves verbal memory retrieval, and shields your central nervous system against long-term neuroinflammatory damage. Oh, I almost forgot. Make sure you buy genuine Ceylon cinnamon, true cinnamon, rather than cassia cinnamon. Cassia cinnamon contains higher levels of coumarin, a compound that can be toxic to the liver when consumed daily in large quantities. Now, let's move on to number 4. The microbiome diversity engine: stewed tart apples, ground flaxseed, Ceylon cinnamon, and raw pumpkin seeds. Deep within your digestive tract lives an ecosystem of over 100 trillion microorganisms, a complex internal rainforest that dictates everything from your systemic immunity and hormone production to your mood and biological aging rate. In modern Western society, ultra-processed foods, chronic stress, and overuse of sanitizers have decimated this microbial biodiversity, leaving the delicate intestinal lining exposed and permeable. When the protective mucosal barrier breaks down, microscopic toxic fragments like lipopolysaccharides leak directly into your bloodstream, triggering a slow-grade invisible fire of systemic inflammation throughout your entire body. Rebuilding this barrier does not require complex protocols. It simply requires giving your beneficial gut microbes the exact structural building blocks they need to thrive. When tart apples, such as Granny Smith, are gently stewed with water, heat breaks down their cellular walls to release vast amounts of soluble pectin. Pectin acts as a specialized prebiotic fuel source that directly nourishes Akkermansia mucinifera, a crucial bacterial species responsible for regenerating and thickening the mucin layer of your gut lining. As these microbes ferment pectin in your colon, they produce short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, primarily butyrate. Butyrate acts as the primary fuel source for your colonocytes, shutting down localized inflammation and tightening the tight junctions of your gut wall to prevent leaky gut. Ground flax seeds add a dual layer of protection, providing high concentrations of mucilage-soluble fiber alongside lignans, phytonutrients that are converted by gut bacteria into enterolactone, a potent compound that balances systemic estrogen levels and lowers long-term oxidative stress. Core and chop 2 organic tart green apples into bite-sized cubes, keeping the nutrient-rich skins intact. Place them in a small saucepan with 3 tablespoons of filtered water, 1/2 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon, and a tiny pinch of sea salt. Cover and simmer over low heat for 10 to 12 minutes until the apples become soft and translucent, releasing a rich, gelatinous pectin glaze. Transfer to a warm bowl, allow to cool slightly, and fold in 2 tablespoons of freshly ground flaxseed and 1 tablespoon of raw, sprouted pumpkin seeds for a rich zinc boost and satisfying texture. Eating this warm, soothing bowl calms lower abdominal bloating, rebuilds damaged intestinal lining, and encourages daily, complete digestive elimination while feeding the exact strains of bacteria that keep your immune system resilient. And here's something important you need to know. Always use freshly ground flax seeds rather than pre-ground whole flaxseed meal. Whole flax seeds pass through your digestive tract completely undigested, while pre-ground flaxseed meal quickly oxidizes on store shelves, turning its delicate omega-3 fats rancid. Grind whole seeds fresh in a coffee grinder every week and store them in a dark glass jar in your freezer. Now, let's move on to number 5. The ancient gut healing integrity bowl, miso glazed wild cod, steamed bok choy, bone broth, and kimchi. Long before modern pharmacology developed synthetic anti-inflammatories and targeted digestive enzymes, traditional Asian cultures relied on the transformative power of natural fermentation and slow-simmered bone elixirs to preserve human vitality. In rural Japanese and Korean fishing villages, elders routinely lived active, vibrant lives well past their 90s, maintaining supple joints and pristine digestive harmony despite demanding physical labor. Their daily sustenance did not consist of cold, raw salads or heavy processed meals, but of deeply soothing, warm, fermented broths that delivered living enzymes and bioavailable minerals straight to the digestive tract with zero metabolic friction. This plate operates as a biological masterclass in gut barrier restoration. Authentic, unpasteurized miso, a fermented soybean or rice paste, delivers millions of live Aspergillus oryzae spore-forming probiotics that survive the harsh acidic environment of the stomach to populate the small and large intestines. When combined with a base of warm, slow-cooked grass-fed bone broth, your body absorbs high concentrations of the amino acids L-glutamine, glycine, and proline. L-glutamine acts as the direct fuel source for repairing damaged intestinal epithelial cells, sealing microtears in the gut wall. The addition of wild kimchi introduces unpasteurized lactic acid bacteria, Lactobacillus plantarum, which actively lowers gut pH to suppress pathogenic bacterial overgrowth. Steamed bok choy delivers bioavailable calcium, magnesium, and mustard oils that stimulate natural digestive enzymes without irritating sensitive mucous membranes. So, in a small pot, gently heat 1.5 cups of high-collagen grass-fed beef or pasture-raised chicken bone broth until warm, making sure never to bring it to a rolling boil. Whisk in 1 generous tablespoon of organic, unpasteurized yellow or white miso paste until fully dissolved. Pan-sear a 5-ounce wild cod fillet in a touch of coconut oil for 3 minutes per side until flaky. Place the cod in a wide, shallow bowl, pour the warm miso broth over top, add 2 cups of lightly steamed baby bok choy, and place 2 tablespoons of authentic, cold-cultured kimchi on the side of the bowl. This deeply nourishing meal instantly calms active digestive distress, restores systemic collagen levels for healthier joints and skin, and reestablishes a balanced, resilient gut microbiome. And here's a tip: never add unpasteurized miso paste to boiling liquids. High heat above 120 degrees Fahrenheit instantly kills the live beneficial probiotic cultures inside the miso. Always remove your broth from the heat source and let it rest for 2 minutes before whisking in the paste. Now, let's move on to number 6. The endothelial nitric oxide booster, roasted red beets, arugula, wild walnuts, and aged goat cheese. As human beings age, one of the most critical biological declines occurs invisibly inside our blood vessels: the rapid loss of nitric oxide production. By the time the average adult reaches age 40, their endothelial cells produce roughly 50% less nitric oxide than they did in their early 20s. By age 60, that number plummets to less than 25%. Nitric oxide is the signaling molecule responsible for vasodilation, the process that instructs your arterial walls to relax, open wide, and allow blood, oxygen, and vital nutrients to flow effortlessly to your heart, brain, and extremities. When nitric oxide drops, arterial walls stiffen, blood pressure creeps upward and cold hands and feet become a daily reality. Red beets are nature's most potent source of inorganic dietary nitrates, NO3-. When you chew roasted beets and leafy arugula, beneficial bacteria living in the deep crypts of your tongue convert these nitrates into nitrites, NO2-. Once swallowed, your gastric acid and systemic enzymes complete the conversion into pure nitric oxide, NO, causing immediate arterial smooth muscle relaxation and expanding microvascular flow. Peppery arugula is equally packed with nitrates and contains high levels of the flavonoid camphorol, which protects existing nitric oxide molecules from rapid oxidative breakdown. Wild walnuts supply L-arginine, an amino acid precursor for endogenous nitric oxide synthesis, while a small sprinkle of aged goat cheese provides vitamin K2, menaquinone 7, which directs calcium out of your soft arterial walls and straight into your bone matrix where it belongs. This one is simple to make. Wrap 2 medium organic red beets in parchment paper and foil and roast at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 45 minutes until tender. Once cooled, peel and slice them into thick half-moons. Spread a dense, vibrant bed of fresh, peppery wild arugula over a plate. Lay the roasted beet slices across the greens and scatter 2 tablespoons of crushed raw walnuts over the top. Finish with 1 tablespoon of crumbled aged goat cheese or sheep's milk feta, drizzling lightly with cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil and a splash of raw apple cider vinegar. Consuming this vibrant red and green plate delivers a natural, non-jittery surge of physical stamina, lowers resting blood pressure readings, and drastically improves vascular circulation from head to toe. But never use antibacterial mouthwash or chew antiseptic gum right after eating nitrate-rich foods like beets or arugula. Antiseptic mouthwash kills the vital oral bacteria living on your tongue that are biologically required to convert nitrates into active nitric oxide, effectively neutralizing the cardiovascular benefits of the meal. Now, let's move on to number 7. The mitochondrial resurrection plate, grass-fed beef liver, sautéed sweet onions, rosemary, and steamed wild asparagus. Inside almost every single cell in your body sit hundreds of microscopic power plants known as mitochondria. They generate ATP, the foundational energy currency that powers every heartbeat, every thought, every muscle contraction, and every repair mechanism your body undertakes. Yet, under the heavy burden of modern environmental toxins, nutrient-depleted soil, and high-carbohydrate diets, our mitochondria become damaged, sluggish, and fragmented. We experience this mitochondrial collapse not merely as physical fatigue, but as deep cellular burnout, stubborn weight gain, brain fog, and premature biological aging. Restoring these cellular engines requires returning to the most nutrient-dense organ meats that sustained human survival for thousands of generations. Grass-fed beef liver is undeniably nature's ultimate multivitamin, boasting an unmatched concentration of preformed vitamin A, retinol, bioavailable hemi-iron, copper, choline, and the entire B-complex vitamin spectrum, particularly vitamin B12 and folate. Copper and hemi-iron in liver work in perfect biological synergy to rebuild cytochrome C oxidase, a key enzyme complex in the mitochondrial electron transport chain responsible for creating ATP. Sautéing liver with sweet onions introduces quercetin, a powerful senolytic flavonoid that protects liver fats from oxidation while clearing out aged cells. Fresh rosemary contains carnosic acid, a lipid-soluble antioxidant that shields delicate mitochondrial membranes from free radical damage, while steamed asparagus supplies raw glutathione precursors and prebiotic inulin to support hepatic detoxification pathways. Soak 4 ounces of fresh, pasture-raised grass-fed beef liver in raw organic buttermilk or lemon water for 20 minutes to draw out metallic sharpness and soften the texture. Slice 1 large sweet yellow onion and sauté it in a cast-iron skillet with 2 tablespoons of grass-fed butter or tallow over medium heat until deeply caramelized. Remove the liver from the soak, pat dry, season with sea salt, black pepper, and chopped fresh rosemary, and sear in the hot skillet for no more than 2 to 3 minutes per side, keeping the center tender and pink. Serve immediately alongside a generous portion of lightly steamed wild asparagus spears. This ancient organ plate delivers an immediate, profound boost in cellular energy production, sharpens mental focus, corrects deep-seated anemia or fatigue, and restores essential micronutrients that modern muscle meats simply cannot provide. So, here's a tip. Overcooking liver ruins both its delicate texture and its nutrient profile. Keep your cook time short and low to medium heat. Liver should always retain a slight pink hue in the center to preserve its heat-sensitive B vitamins and enzymes. If you're starting to see the pattern here, how combining specific, nutrient-dense whole foods releases a powerful compound effect that heals your body from the inside out, do me a quick favor and hit that like button right now. It takes just half a second, but it tremendously helps this video reach more people who genuinely need this life-changing information. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a deep dive into your health. Now, let's move on to number 8, the Microvascular neuro-shield plate. Steamed wild sardines, sautéed garlic kale, avocado, and crushed pumpkin seeds. When most people think of brain aging and microvascular decline, they picture large-scale strokes or severe neurological diagnoses. But long before those conditions ever manifest, a quiet, microscopic breakdown occurs within the thousands of miles of tiny capillaries feeding your brain, eyes, and inner organs. These fragile microvessels are constantly exposed to high blood sugar spikes, free radical damage, and lipid oxidation. In communities across the globe where elders retain razor-sharp memory and pristine vision well into their late 90s, small, cold-water oily fish and dark sulfur-dense greens are not occasional treats. They are non-negotiable staples of daily life. Wild-caught sardines are among the cleanest, most concentrated sources of long-chain omega-3 fatty acids, specifically docosahexaenoic acid, DHA, and eicosapentaenoic acid, EPA, on the planet. Because sardines are at the absolute bottom of the oceanic food chain, they contain virtually zero heavy metals or microplastics compared to larger predator fish like tuna or swordfish. DHA forms the structural architecture of your brain's gray matter and retinal membranes, directly promoting synaptic fluidity. Sautéing lacinato kale with crushed raw garlic releases allicin and activates lutein and zeaxanthin, two carotenoids that deposit directly into the macular region of the eye and the frontal cortex of the brain to filter damaging blue light and neutralize singlet oxygen stress. Rich monounsaturated fats from sliced avocado and raw pumpkin seeds provide the necessary lipophilic transport vehicle, allowing your enterocytes to effortlessly absorb these fat-soluble neuroprotectors. In a stainless steel or cast iron skillet, heat 1 tablespoon of avocado oil over medium heat. Add 2 crushed garlic cloves and let them sizzle for 60 seconds until fragrant. Add 3 cups of chopped lacinato kale and 2 tablespoons of bone broth or water, covering the skillet for 2 minutes until the kale turns deep emerald green. Transfer the warm kale to a plate, top with half a sliced ripe avocado, and scatter 2 tablespoons of raw, shelled pumpkin seeds over top. Open 1 tin of wild-caught sardines in extra virgin olive oil or water. Gently lay the whole sardines across the warm greens and sprinkle with a pinch of coarse Celtic sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper. Eating this potent microvascular shield twice a week sharpens mental processing speed, protects your eyesight against age-related macular degeneration, and creates an impenetrable barrier against small vessel neurovascular decline. Pay attention here. Always look for wild-caught sardines packed in extra virgin olive oil or spring water in BPA-free tins. Eat the tiny soft bones inside the sardines. They are completely soft, edible, and provide one of the most bioavailable, perfectly balanced sources of natural calcium, phosphorus, and collagen available in human nutrition. If you've made it this far with me, you now hold the blueprint to an entire cellular renewal system. Instead of viewing nutrition as a confusing list of isolated nutrients, counting calories, or worrying about restrictive diets, I want you to organize these 8 longevity plates into a simple 3-pillar mental framework. Pillar 1. Vascular and neurological protection. Plates 1, 3, 6, and 8. Use these plates to open up your blood vessels, flood your brain with oxygen, protect your microvascular capillaries, and stimulate neuroplasticity. Pillar 2. Gut barrier and microbiome. Repair, plates 4 and 5. Use these warm, fermented, and pectin-dense plates to seal a leaky gut wall, cool systemic inflammation, and nourish your beneficial internal ecosystem. Pillar 3. Cellular recycling and mitochondrial power, plates 2 and 7. Use these sulfur-dense and micronutrient-rich plates to activate autophagy, clear out old senescent cells, and reignite your cellular energy powerhouses. You do not need to overhaul your entire life overnight, and you certainly do not need to cook all 8 of these plates this week. Progressive, sustainable healing happens through small, consistent choices. Pick just 2 or 3 of these plates that resonated with you the most, write down the ingredients, and commit to integrating them into your dinner rotation over the next 7 days. Give your body the biochemical tools it needs, and watch how quickly your energy, focus, and digestion respond. If this video opened your eyes to the incredible power of targeted, functional nutrition, please hit that. I want to hear from you in the comments below. Which of these 8 plates are you going to test first? Are you going Team Mediterranean Repair with the wild salmon, or are you going Team Gut Integrity with the miso bone broth? And if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe, take care of your cells today, so your body can take care of your future tomorrow. I'm so glad you're on this journey with us. Stay proactive, stay nourished, and I will see you in the very next video.